Hello and welcome to another edition of Blessed and Grateful Wednesdays. I am CJR, the host of This Tree in Me that drops every Sunday. I hope everybody's having a blessed day. So I want to start out with a couple of things. The first one is I want to give a shout out to my big sister. She had to put her puppy down today, and that is not an easy thing for anybody to do. The big part of this is that dog has done so much for her, taken her through a lot of things in life, and that yappy little thing's going to be missed. That was a dog that, if a hair stood up on the shoulder, that dog would bark at it. Like, it was just that sensitive. Presley, named after Elvis, and I had a unique relationship. By the end, she definitely won, and I will miss hearing that yap, yap, yap as soon as I come in the circle. So, sis, I love you, and I'm thinking about you. And Presley, I hope you're in a better place. And then, other than that, just want to talk about what we're going to have the topic on tonight. So I did a little bit of a message on this earlier in the week about the weekend, and I had my pod episode on becoming, which was kind of the message or a little bit of where I'm going in general. But definitely the weekend and the spiritual retreat that I went on was a big piece of kicking that off, I guess, if you will, or enhancing it, or however you want to phrase that. I guess I should be the one that's phrasing it, but becoming is not a destination. It is a mindset. And it's a never-ending process. So that leads me into what I am going to be blessed and grateful for every day. But tonight we're going to speak about the weekend. And I'm not going to get too detailed about it. There's still a lot of things that I'm processing. And at the same time, that was my journey, my experience. Yes, it was a group, and we'll go through a little bit of that tonight with some of the people that were there and what I've learned and the people that I'm still in contact with. And that is an experience that we will never forget, that will be a part of us forever, that we shared. So there's certain things that are going to be held very close to the heart and the soul, and don't ever need to be spoke of except between the people who shared the experience. So I hope that you understand, and whether you do or do not, that is my decision and my choice. So that's where I'm at with it. And I'll ask, where's the respect to that? If you ever want to send me messages and ask questions and things like that, there'll be things that I will talk about with people individually and one-on-one. And there'll be certain things that I'll never answer. Just like in my life, just like in my past. Like, there's a few events that I will, as of right now, my mindset is I'll never share them with any human being ever again. The people that know, I know it will go with them until they leave this earth. That is a guarantee. So let's move on. And let's get a little bit into the weekend and how it's blessed me, what I've learned, where I'm at right now, and what it brought to me today, this morning as I was writing, and where this tree in me is going. And I know we've talked about writing a book and things like that. That has kind of had some clarity in it as well. So to kind of jump to the end, and we'll climb there, is, yes, I've been writing and journaling and things like that, and off and on writing, little story kind of things. But this morning I wrote again. Like wrote. And it started out by trying to write a poem. And just wasn't feeling it. There was something inside me. And I turned the page and just started writing a story. And it's from the perspective of a child who was deeply hurt and kept it inside and built walls and lost trust in love and life and just became a me against the world kind of a thing. And so I'm a little bit into it. And I had a pause for different things in life, but that's where I left it. So let's talk about how I got there. So this weekend, it was a 3-day event. And so I arrived Friday, and I've talked a little bit about this, but I'm going to speak a little bit more. And again, I'm not going to use names. I might use some initials, just so they know. And I've already told them what they've meant to me and things like that, and how grateful I am to have these people in my life now. And I don't know if it'll be forever. I hope. It's just it was something that meant a lot to me, and I learned from everybody that was there. So as I said the other night, so I'm there Friday night, and I am sitting on the porch or out in the common area where everyone is kind of hanging out. There's some music going on. People were just talking, getting to know each other, introductions. Some people knew each other, some people didn't. There's people from all over the place. And so I'm sitting there awkwardly, feeling a little bit uncomfortable, kind of keeping to myself, but, slowly but surely speaking to people. And all of a sudden it hits my ear is I heard a city. And I was like, wait, that's from the state that I'm from. Okay, let me, where is this person? So see him, make eye contact, comes over, we introduce, we give a hug. Never met him, right? I mean, this is just one of those spiritual journeys that it was very touchy-feely, right? Embracing and things like that. So I go in to tell him the story about, hey, I'm from here. And so he knew where I was from, obviously. He's a lot younger, right? And so I mentioned that I later in life, after I got divorced, I dated a lady that I had a high school crush on. And she was here living where I'm at now. And, just kind of told him the story, and he didn't know the last name and things like that, which was fine. So we kind of connected right from the start. And then, so we end up sitting by each other that night in the first group setting. And so we spent, 6, 7, 8 hours sitting there by each other, right? And so then later on that night, he starts playing some music. It's just him and I sitting outside now. It's pretty early in the morning. It's no longer Friday. And we're just kind of talking, and I'm writing And he starts playing some music, and I really like it. I really enjoyed it. And again, I talked about this before, but briefly. So, bear with me if you've listened to this. Maybe you'll hear some things that I didn't talk about that day when I gave a little bit of a short video of how I was feeling that day. Anyhow, and so we just get to talking then. We really start opening up, and we really start sharing. I'm talking to him, asking questions about his music and his writing and things like this. And I'm sharing, I love writing. I want to be a writer. It's one of the parts of me that I really enjoy. Just haven't done it for a while. And we just kind of share that journey of mine and his. Well, over the time, come to find out his age. And it was just like it was meant to be. This young man came to feel so familiar, so similar to me that it took a while to understand, but finally I believe might have been Sunday when him and I were just kind of hanging out, talking, doing a couple other meditation groups and things, and where I was like, dude, I just see so much of me in you, and I do not want to see your flame of artistry and songwriting and your passion get dampered. So, I hope that my encouragement and my pushing a little bit of trying to get you more comfortable with getting out of your shell a little bit, that's where it's coming from. So I wasn't trying to be, pushy and things like that, because the kid's good. Well, anyhow, so he ends up being 22 years old. So on the inside of my bicep is the Roman numeral 22. This came from the girl that I dated, the lady that I dated, that was from his hometown, which he still lives in. She was from there. The 22 represented how long it had been since her and I had last seen each other. We got matching tattoos. So, her and I are no longer together, haven't been for many years, and I just kept the tattoo. I have many different tattoos. Some of them are just mine, some of them are relationships. But they were a part of my life, so I'm not covering them up. I'm not getting rid of them. If when I date other people, if they ask me, I just say, yeah, this is what this is what this is. And so, but the 22s come to mean so much more. So in January of 2022, my father passed. August 1st of 2022 is when I started my carnivore diet and changed my life. And then I meet this young man who I see very similar, and I just see something in him. And I hear it in his writing. I hear it. And he ends up being 22. It was just... it was just such a moment with me that it just sunk all together. So, there's another young man that I, been chatting with a little bit here tonight, and he picked up the guitar for the first time in a long time that weekend. And, there's a young lady that, married with a kid, and she's just a very nice person, and we're keeping in touch. And I just hope to help these people out as much as I can, and they're helping me already. And I'll get to the inspirational side of this from the first young man that I spoke of. There's another guy that we're going to have a call tomorrow, and I will give him some shout outs, and I will give him full credit and whatever. He is going to be doing a digital artwork for me to get a image for the cover photo for This Tree and Me, and we're going to discuss what it's going to look like. He has art for sale. He's got some great art, and he's just a very, very cool dude. He's a musician. He's just a very, very cool guy. So I will ask his permission before I give any shout outs or anything like that, and if he allows, then I'll share some of his stuff on all my socials so you guys can see it, because I believe I believe in helping others and sharing others, and it may be for you, it may not be, but I enjoy it and I dig it, so I want to give the guy flowers. So I appreciate that as well. Another young lady who is helping me on another side of my spirituality, and it's been very beneficial. She led one of the meditations Sunday morning that was just phenomenal, and that was the group setting where I finally shared with the whole group and got the judgment and all the nonsense and everything out of my head and said, look, dude, if you're going to do this, you got to put yourself out there. You got to be vulnerable. You got to share what you feel and what you see and how you felt in that moment and what that moment brought to you, and just an open share. And I cried because the event that I spoke of brought tears to my eyes, because it took me back to a place in high school where I wasn't in a very good place at all, and where one of my protectors, one of the people inside of me that protect me in their way, which isn't a healthy way, but understanding why he feels this way and where he comes from and all that. And in this meditation, he was there, and I ended up just giving him a hug instead of arguing with him and fighting with him and just say, hey dude, you can talk all the nonsense you want. None of that. Just went and hugged him. And no one battered me for it. No one judged me for it. It's been so supportive and so healthy for me. So I appreciate that very much. And sometimes you'll see as I speak, so this is a ring of my father's, and it's one of a few pieces that I have of his, but I find myself when I'm speaking or when I'm talking, and maybe I got a little bit of anxiety inside of me, or I'm just wanting to, I just start playing with it. And it's funny because when I don't have it on, sometimes I'll find myself doing this because I still feel it on my finger because I wear it so much. So let's just get back to the weekend now, because there's so much, guys. I can't tell everything. I just need to tell the story as short and sweet as I can, and over time more and more and more and more will come out. So I get back late Sunday, and I haven't eaten a lot all weekend. I haven't slept a lot all weekend, and I haven't eaten a lot all weekend. And so I'm driving back, and I'm hungry. And I just, like I said that the other day, I just decided to get in my car and let's just once I got here, let's just get home. So I got in my car, headed home, and on the way, literally 4 hours away, I ordered wings from Buffalo Wild Wings and scheduled them for the pickup. Now, yeah, if I get an accident or something, that's not going to happen, but it all worked out. I got there in perfect time. And so the first experience after this weekend, and the weekend, just understand from start to finish, I was around people that were in their path and their journey, but in the same experience. So it was all about that. It was all about, whatever your purpose and your path was bringing you there, the experience that we were all going through at different moments was shared. So writing, music, conversation, just all of it. That's all we did together. Large group of us. And so I get back Sunday, head to Buffalo Wild Wings, go walk inside, and all of a sudden, overwhelmed. It was Sunday, NFL football, loud. I hadn't been in that. I've been in a completely serene, peaceful, meditational, spiritual reading environment. all right, just breathe, man. Just get your stuff and breathe. Get your stuff and breathe. So the another test I get, so I start heading out to the car after they bring me my stuff, and I'm like, this is light. What the? And I looked, I was like, oh no, had to go back in. It was all right, right? It was that first life experience. Okay, so then I get home, do my thing. Cowboys win, which doesn't happen a lot. Yay. Sunday night. So I just watched the game. I really just didn't do anything of my normal meditation or writing or anything that night. I just was. And so then I turn off. Well, all my alarms are already off. So, and like I said, I've been off work. That's a whole nother conversation. I've been working, but from home, but it's nonsense. But it is what it is. I took care of the things, found solutions, moved on. I've got a boss who will understand, and I'll take time on other days to get that time back. Can't really get it back because I wanted it for that whole week. But that's okay. That's life, and you adjust. So I sleep, I don't know, 10 hours, something like that. And I get up. He's at the kennel, right? I'm boarding him while I'm gone. So I get up, I eat, I do different things. I kind of just get back into a little bit of a routine. And, no gym, no yoga classes, none of that. So I go get him, go do some things, and then him and I go see the tree of this tree in me and do some, grounding and some meditation. Not a whole lot of meditation. I listened to some while I walked and stuff, but more of it was music. I combed him out and brushed him out and just kind of hung out in that park, right? And, the flower beds are kind of dying and going away. But so then I get back home, get back into the routine of it, and all right, I feel pretty good. I'm doing all right. Got, I ate, I've got my calorie level back up. So that way, I got some fuel to go to the gym and do my thing. I think I've got some good mental space. Think was the key word there. To kind of start functioning outside of work. Still working a little bit here and there, but Monday I worked a lot. I really did up until I went and got him. Anyhow, so get up Tuesday, go to bed at a good time Monday night. Didn't finish the whole game, or did I? Doesn't matter. Went to bed at a decent time. Woke up my alarm's always set at 5:30. I woke up at 4:45. When I do that, I just get up and I have time to write then before I go do my normal stretching and roller, the leg rollers and things like that. So I make my coffee, which I haven't had coffee for a long time because part of this going into that retreat was no caffeine. So I had to get rid of my coffee. For those of you who know me well, coffee's a staple for me, and I love it. So I hadn't had coffee for a while. I was like, all right, let's make some coffee. So I made my coffee and started writing, and things start coming. Things start coming around. Things start making more sense and clarity. And mind you, this is Tuesday morning now. So my second day back in here. And all right, I've got a noon deep stretch yoga class in an infrared room. All the yoga classes that I take there are infrared, so I love it. I love the benefits of it. I felt it. So I go do the deep stretch, not knowing hey, what's going on, right? The lady who runs it, I prepped her a little bit because I haven't told a whole lot of people where I went and what I did and all that kind of stuff. And I just said, hey, look. And then I said, especially for later on, because at 4:00 I go and she runs what's called Studio Red, which is a circuit class. So there's a bike, There's TRX, there is treadmill, and there's a bench. So you go through stations, different things, all kinds of stuff. Anyhow, so just like letting her, hey, look, if I'm off, if I, this and that, I said, I don't know how much energy I'll have. So I get through deep stretch and I'm thinking, all right, I'm good, man. I wasn't bad. I felt good. Got a good stretch in. Yeah, I was not ready for a full gym workout. I was not ready for that circuit class. And I knew it about 10 minutes to the hour. It's an hour long. And I knew it really early. But I fought through it. I went through it. And, she'd always walk by every now and then, just give a little extra encouragement. Hey, don't quit. Don't this. It may slow down, whatever. So I got through it. And I was like, okay. All right. I get it. I hadn't eaten a lot. Hadn't slept a lot. I haven't built all that back up yet. So get home and take him for a walk. Do some writing that night, and then it starts coming back again. I start doing a few more things, and it starts coming back a little bit better. So, all right. And then Wednesday morning, so that night, I had a hard night getting to sleep, which isn't common. Had a lot of bodily anxiety, legs going, just different feelings. Ended up sleeping very well. Woke up. Said nope, turned off my alarm, which is rare, but I need it. I just nope. And then I grabbed my phone because I still had a little bit of that inside of me, and I was like, I canceled my 9:15 or 9:30 that studio red again. Since I was off, I could do it early in the day. No, thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. So that was this morning. And so I slept in. And then I ended up not even falling back to sleep. I just laid there for probably 30 minutes and got up. And then that's when it all came to me. And I started writing. And I got partway through that poem. And I was, struggling a bit and not getting it out. And it's like, hey, dude, a lot of this work you're doing is easing all that inner pain and whatever else that's inside of you. And that's where your artistry comes from. That's where your words, that's where your music, that's where the beautiful pictures that artists paint, that's where it all comes from. So I'm literally sitting there thinking, how do I write from those places as they heal? How do I bring that memory back to write from that place? Well, it wasn't poetry. It ended up being a short story. So I started writing it, and that's when it really started flowing. And I thought about reading a little bit of it tonight, but I'm not ready for that yet. And that's fine. It's nothing negative about it. Just not ready for that tonight. Anyhow, so I'm really writing, and I'm going through myself. My whole morning was different. I did a couple of my normal meditations. There's two actually, but there's one that I do that helps me visualize and envision where I'm trying to go. And it's very important to me that I do that every single day of my life. In the mornings specifically. So writing and going through all this and get him out and we go for our walk and we go ground and we do our morning minute. I even forgot to do the evening calm the night before. I was so out of it. Just getting through everything, writing again and getting back home. And all right, so now canceled my class. I'm good. I get to a point. And so I text the guys. I'm like, hey, you know what? I got to go donate blood at X time. How about we meet at a coffee joint? There's a few that we go to, but how about we go meet at this coffee joint at X time? I'll be there. Whoever wants to come. And I was given a blessing there. a man that I call a brother and have for a very long time, our relationship hasn't been the same for a little while now. But especially during this part, and it's just us feeling each other out and stuff, but we had a conversation today like we haven't had in many, many years. Many years. And I caught myself about part of the way through it like, yeah, this is good. This is what we need for each other. This is how we support each other. It had nothing to do with what brought us together. It had nothing to do with what we've done together for 15 years. It was just him and I talking. And it was kind of a blessing. And I say this part of it, and nothing bad about the gentleman who didn't come, but if they would have came, we wouldn't have that moment. So something out there, my mom will say God, a gentleman who works in one of the churches around here that I'm hoping is a dear friend of mine. I'm sure he would say the same thing. And I'm not disagreeing, just not necessarily the way I think of it in the Christianity sense of the word. I do use the word God, but to me it's more of a universe, God, the field, like all-encompassing, however you want to say it, in play, to show me that if people truly love me and I truly love them, then no matter the paths and the journeys that we go on, we'll find a way. So it was just a good moment in time. And I didn't have to go into work. I didn't have to go back to work, anything like that. So I had all the time to sit there and just have a conversation. So that was good. And so then I come home and I cook because I have 2 classes on Wednesday night. So I've been in 2 hours of infrared yoga coming into this. So I'm really glowy, really happy. The first one is a deep stretch. I really like that deep. I'm not a flexible human being, and it really helps me. It's a great benefit to me. And then a break, and it's the same instructor, and I really enjoy her. She's awesome. And the second one, well, she's the one that I spoke about that, kind of tailored this because it's not a large class. So she'll listen and talk to you and kind of find out what you want out of it. And the second one is a restore, which is, 4 poses roughly. And you just sit in them for 10-ish minutes, 8 to 10 minutes each. And again, people who run yoga sessions and stuff, but you can also talk to them and feel that. But I gave her before deep stretch, but going into this one, because ever since this weekend, my meditations hit different. I'm trying to make the best eye contact that I can on this camera. My meditations hit different now. Not every time, not all the time, but they're different. And so I just said, hey, look, I'm just letting you know, I'm just 2 days back into this. I was on a very, very deep spiritual retreat just this weekend. And because I know this class and how you run it, and I know we're going to get into some meditation, if I don't follow along or if I kind of get lost and you just see me doing my thing, just please. And she's like, you do whatever you need to do. It's just, I'm starting to get these kind of people in my life, which is just breathtakingly humbling. And it did. I followed along the best I could, but there was this third one. I don't even know what the pose is called. I have no idea. I'm just learning all this kind of stuff. And we use a lot of props in the restore here. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how I was set up, but that third pose hit different. I went to a place in that meditation that was a lot coming in. Not visually, nothing like that, just the feeling of it. So it was just awesome. So I got through the rest. We ended, right? We did all that. And then came home, showered, cleaned up a little bit just to refresh this. Got back dressed into, you've seen me in a lot of my hoodies here lately and stuff like that doing this. But tonight I wanted to dress a little bit more like the guy I am. And not saying I'm not a hoodie guy. I love my hoodies. I love hoodies. But this is kind of how I've been going. And in this, so funny story about this, I wore it all weekend, so it means a little bit of something to me. And typically I put it under. But I wore it all weekend on the outside. I wanted to do it for this because I was talking about that night. I just keep it underneath because it's for me. It's not for show. It's not to, hey, look at him. He's wearing, people are going to say whatever kind of beads they want to say. They have no meaning like that to me. I got them because I like them. I really enjoy it. So that's that. So how this has all affected me for the podcast and my writing and the book that I want to eventually write. So let's just talk about the writing style. You will, as I start sending out here shortly, getting the weekly signups for the weekly email out, you're going to see my writing style. I have my own writing style, and I finally got comfortable with it again today. I got comfortable with this is just how I write. I don't care about certain punctuations and this and that. I have a rhythm to the way I write to drive in certain messages. And I texted the one young man, BW, if you're out there watching, appreciate you, young man. Love you, brother. He shared a song with me that he's finishing getting ready to put out. And once he does it and he allows me to, I'm going to share it. I'm actually going to speak to him. This is the first time he's going to hear this. So I'm actually going to have him write something for me for my podcast with this tree and me. And that is the theme. So I'll get to that with him, hopefully. So I was like, dude, you inspired me. I'm writing. And I'm going to talk about it tonight on this podcast because it's taken a little different turn. So I'm going to write short stories. I may try to publish them individually, but the one thing that I know is it will be a collection to this tree and me, and that's going to be the name of the book. As of right now, things change, things alter, but as of right now, that's going to be the name of the book. And a lot of people, when I talk to them and they ask what's the name of the podcast, I say it, that really hits them. They're like, dude, they don't even know what it's about before. They just hear the name of it and they love, wow. So I think I settled in the right place there. But I'm just going to write these short stories and then I'm going to discuss them. I might read little excerpts from them, but the conversation is going to be about what this story came from, where it lies within me, the lessons that I've been taught by them now, how I got to that place, how the tools of meditation and breath work and whatever else I'm doing has helped me in the healing of that certain part. It may not even be about healing. It may be a great fun time. There's a lot of, I've lived 55 years. It's not all crap. There's a lot of good. So there's going to be all those, but it's going to be a collection of short stories written in such a way that will tell my story. And I know there's some people in my life that are worried about me writing about them. And I need to let everyone know that is not the point of all this. I'm not going to use people's names unless they ask. Or unless they give me permission. I'm not going to tell stories that aren't mine. Like, I could tell you the story of Presley, but that's not my story to tell. Yes, am I involved in it? Absolutely. It's not my story to tell. So I can just tell it from my viewpoint, and I don't have to get into details that are not mine to speak of. And that's the same in this. Anything to do with, I'll just use my mom, because my mom knows I'm doing this. She watches this religiously. I love her dearly. My sister does too. I still am not going to tell their stories fully, even stories with me and them. Not from their viewpoint or not things that they did. Like when I write stories and tell stories about, myself in high school and things that I did and how my mom reacted, I'm not going to tell how what my mom did or how this. I'm going to tell it from what I did, what my accountability is, what my story is. And yeah, she's going to be woven in there. But her story is her story. And even if it's an experience that her and I shared, that's hers to tell. So the reason I want to emphasize that is because there are some people that are very, very dear to me. Very dear. That I know are probably thinking, I don't know what they're thinking. I just do know they're not comfortable with me using their names or telling specific stories about them. And if they listen to this and watch this, they'll understand they'll get the rhythm of my pod, they'll get the rhythm of my writing, and they'll see that that's not my intent. My intent is not to make anybody look poorly, not even myself. Now, I'm going to. I have stories that I will tell that are not the best light to shine on me. But I'm going to shine the light on others more than I do on me. That's the way we bring people up. And I'm probably going to butcher this saying, but there's another thing that I listen to every morning that says, I think the gentleman's name is Girder. If you look at people as they are, they will remain the same or get worse. But if you look at people as they could be, they will become what they should be. That's not verbatim, so please don't come at me with that. You didn't say it properly. That's the gist of it. That's pretty close to a section of it. That one hits. That's amazing to me. So, what I got out of this weekend, I can't explain to you guys. It's unexplainable. The biggest thing, I don't know even how or if I want to say it fully. But there was a part of me, there was a part of me that was freed. There was a part of me that was completely released to be his true self, to go run and play, to go be whatever he wants to be. That part has been hidden in me for a long time. That part has been buried under many, many, many years and many faces and protectors and vices and anger and resentment, and just, I could go through a lot of it. That was the first night. And I can't explain the experience except once that happened, And I tried to drag him back. I did. I literally did in my mind. I tried to drag him back. And finally, I got the message of, he's not leaving you. He's just free to be him, man. Let him be. That was comforting. So then what do? Cory, hey, what's next? Let's go. Fix next. Wait, what's next? Let's go. And the practice kept dragging me back. Dude, relax. Celebrate what just happened. Celebrate that part of you that hasn't been celebrated and truly loved and allowed to be enjoyed and seen for a lot of years. And eventually I finally let go and said, fair enough. So I bet for the last 3 to 4 hours, at least, it felt that way. It felt like 2 days. I just enjoyed it. I didn't fight it. I just laid there and I enjoyed the messages. I enjoyed the music that I was hearing. I just enjoyed it. Pure joy. It was pure joy. Probably in the smile on my face right now, in the light in my eyes right now, because I feel it. It's real. And that meant a lot to me. The next day might not have been as easy. There might have been some reason why that first night he was like, dude, or she said, hey, celebrate what's going on here. She said, no, celebrate this, live in this, love it, enjoy it, knowing, tomorrow may not be as easy, Bubba. So take a breath, relax. I think that's where we're gonna leave it tonight. I feel good about it. I don't want to make these too long, right? I want to make these as watchable as possible. Not just from the wording and the messaging and stuff, but also from the time. I know it takes time, and I know people have lives and things like that. So, and breaking it up into a couple sections, I just appreciate anybody turning it on for the first, right? So it is. I'm very glad I did it. I was scared as hell going in. I don't have the answers of, will I ever go do something that intense again? On a spiritual side, I don't know. I might. I know I can do it now. And I know that it gave me a whole lot. But I also know that my body, my mind, all of me needs to process, needs to work through it, needs to do the work. There's no cheat codes, there's no shortcuts. It's daily work. Every single day. Your journey does not have to look like mine. My journey is a spiritual journey. My journey is something that, like some people may want to be a better husband, right? Or a better mom, or a better, it doesn't matter. They might want to be a better business owner. Honestly, none of it matters. Whatever that goal, that path, that journey is, you still have to do work every day on it. And there's certain things that I do that you can modify for you and your life and your lifestyle and your wants that will absolutely benefit you in your journey, in your path. I know what I'm doing is a lot. I get it. I promise you I get it. But it's what I need. It's what I want. So, thank you for allowing me to be in front of you. Thank you for the comments, and they're growing, and I'm just digging the interactions with people. So DM me, hit me up, comment, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff on all my platforms. CoryJRiggs.com. No E in Cory, CORY. J Riggs, RIGGS.com. That's where all my socials are all there. That website's going to really start getting developed here in a little bit. There's going to be a lot more going on there. I'm not going to give timelines because, again, I got work, I'm busy, I got other things, and I have life. But it's a dedication that I will put out there because I want to start engaging more. I want to start connecting more. I want to be more vulnerable so I can help. And that is the key to my life. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it that makes you think or look at something differently or just gave you a smile. Right? Anything. I just appreciate you being here. I love you all. Be blessed.